I don't know how you like your mahindi, but as for me, I like mine choma with a bit of pilipili. Now today we're in Olkalau, heading to see Sonny, who is a maize farmer. So join us. At the farm with Sonny. If you guys remember Sonny, she did the episode on potato farming right here at the farm in Olkalau, and today we have her back to talk about maize farming, as you guys can see. So before we get into that, we would like Sonny to introduce herself once again. For those of you who didn't watch the potato episode, get to know who Sonny is.
Yes, so I'm Sonny, short for Modoni.
Yes.
Most people call me Sonny.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, Faith Modoni. Yeah, I'm a farmer,
Nice.
stroke student, stroke I'm a financial analyst. I do finance. Yeah, so this is my passion. This is what I do.
Yeah.
I started this around 2.5 years ago. Yeah, very jokingly, I didn't know that I would get to where I am at kuangalia shamba yangu.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is where we are now.
So the passion was just you've always had the desire to farm.
Yeah.
I mean, also having your grandparents in the farming space.
Yeah.
And you talked about maize, and yes, maize is the staple food. That's what we learned in was it geography or history?
PhD.
Is the one. So as we enter into maize farming, people of course know maize because of either they eat mahindi choma, ama wanakula mahindi in terms of flour, or even mahindi ya kuboil.
Yeah.
So there are different types of varieties, yeah? So we're getting into maize. Why maize for you? You know, you would have done anything else. People are doing strawberries, people are doing passion.
Yes.
Why maize?
Okay, so maize is very sustainable, especially in this county, Nyandarua, because it's kind of like a passive crop. You know, it's not something that you need to be there looking at it every day.
Yeah.
So especially now, because I'm not at the farm 24/7,
Yes.
I also wanted something to, you know, take up some of the space that I'm not planting the other things.
Okay.
Something at the end of the year I'll sell, and you know, it doesn't have a lot of haina mambo mingi. Yeah, so I was advised that, and that's now when we started planting maize. Okay. Very easy to plant, very passive. You know, it's not susceptible to a lot of diseases. Equal to.
Yeah. And I'm so sure the viewers like such things. Unajua kwanza young people, they like easy things. So when we hear what Sonny has to say about maize, probably if you do have land, if your parents have land, you will want to plant this type of maize.
Yes.
So behind us is a type of variety of maize. Which one is it?
Inaitwa 628.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called 628. There are different varieties of maize. When you're going to buy the seeds, utaambiwa according to where you want to plant it.
Yeah.
So this place, the weather is not very hot. It can get hot,
Yeah.
but that's very rare.
Yes.
It can get hot. It's mostly very cold. So actually the trouble that we usually have is mimea zinachomeka because of the cold. That's the problem. So even when you're going to look for the type of maize that you're going to plant, so you look for something that is itaendanisha na the weather.
Where you are, yeah.
Because like this one, we only have one planting season.
Okay.
For the maize. Okay. You can't plant twice a year for this particular type of maize.
Okay.
So it takes about 7 months to harvest.
Then you can harvest.
Yeah, then you can harvest.
Okay.
Then that's when you find sasa watu wameweka cabbage, carrot, nini until a couple of months later, and then you plant again. But in places that are hot, say like Machakos, Uko, and those ones, first of all, they mature very fast, 3 months. And you find like now those ones are, if you're doing maize for like a cash crop kabisa,
yeah.
Those ones are the ones you're going to want to plant. Okay. But now you can't plant them here.
Now that's the other thing. Okay, so it said 7 months until you harvest. So for these ones, because of how they look, how many months?
Say 4.
4.
Because they were planted
like
in April.
So
hazijaanza kutoka kabisa.
Hazijaanza, but they're so. It's also the height a factor, because I mean, if this is 4 months, I'm trying to imagine the next 3 months until harvest.
Zitamea. Of course, itafika point they'll stop. Now they'll just start sprouting a lot and everything. Okay. But it's a very passive type of crop. Hautashinda hapo ukiangalia kila saa.
Every time. So it's good if you're someone who's at home in Nairobi,
Yes.
and you have someone, a manager here.
Yeah, you have a manager here. You
Yeah.
know, this is a good crop. You just plant, and you plant a lot because you know it doesn't.
Yes,
It
you
doesn't
plant
need a lot of like fertilizer and pest control, whatever.
Okay.
So it's also not pricey
Okay,
to
so
plant
pricey to
and
plant.
manage.
So about how much of this maize is sitting on this land? Like how much do we have? Like the land that it covers.
Because we have it in different places. You see, like hapa wameacha because of the seasons. Because
Yes.
let's say like these ones were planted in April. Let's say there are some that have just been harvested, so they'll plant something else. But let's say kitu kama 2 acres.
2 acres.
But yeah,
Maize.
all over the
All
place. Mm.
Also 2 acres.
No, cumulatively.
Or it's 2 acres.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about planting, because that's always the thing. You know, people wonder how all of us, when you go to shags, you find that it's just there. You don't even know how it's been planted. All you're thinking about is maize fields and going through it. So how is the planting process for maize?
For maize, it's pretty straightforward because you just prepare the land. It doesn't need like deep ninis like these ones.
Okay.
So you even see like when people are planting maize, hata unaweza tumia tu mkono.
Okay.
Yeah. So the thing is, you just need to cover the seeds to make sure that they're not scorched by the sun. And also you plant before the rains.
Yes.
Yeah, because if you plant during the rain season, they'll just be washed away and nothing will grow there.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that plus some fertilizer, CAN, you're good to go.
So that's it. So even there's nothing like watering, you're waiting for the rainfall.
Most of the time you just wait for the rainfall. Okay, here we are having a lot of problems with water.
Okay.
And that's why I think when we were coming like this, you saw the reservoir that we have over there. So hapa na pale probably, but the rains have been good.
Yes.
We use the water mostly for the other crops that are not very drought resistant. You know,
Not like
Yeah,
maize. So
yeah.
maize is a drought resistant.
Yeah, like this one. Yeah, it's okay. Like it can wait for the rain.
It can wait for, yeah.
It's a
So it's-
survivor.
So like other plants. Okay. So you had spoken about the advantages of this type, saying that they're easy, you know, to grow, even in terms of pests, they're not so much, you know.
They get a
hazisumbui
bit of
sana.
blight.
Okay.
But not so much. Like for these ones, we haven't seen a big case of blight.
Yes.
So just kidogo, then you spray the booster and phosphate, and you're good to go.
Okay. So what is booster a type of like fertilizer?
Yeah, it's like, it's sort of like a type of fertilizer. Okay, mostly it's used on viazi, and it's used on crops when you want to make sure zisichomeke, either na baridi
So
or...
you just spray the leaves?
Yeah, now that one you just have the pump.
You
just
go round.
Yeah, you just go around spraying.
Okay.
So otherwise, now like for the blight, you can use phosphate, unaeka, wherever there are those cases, but it's very rare.
Okay.
Like for these ones.
Yeah.
They have been okay, they've been healthy.
They do look
They
very
look healthy and they're so young, but they look so good. You know?
Right, the 4 months is young, but they look like they're 6 months because of the height. Okay, and in terms of like any pests, like do aphids attack this type of maize variety? Because you know a lot of times you find the leaves, you always find zimekulwa like this pest.
I know, they don't know the struggles that you're going through. Yeah.
And also in terms of because when it comes to maize, a lot of people put the scarecrows. So do you need to do that for you guys? Have you had a case where you need to, you know, keep off the crows and...
Okay. Okay, for us, there are no scarecrows, for sure. But I think it's because, you know, also with shags, there are always people in the farm. You know, so there's always activity there. Yeah, human scarecrows wako huko.
Yes.
Yeah. For the aphids, I've had that. There's been cases of the aphids, especially, I think, just before the rains.
Yeah.
But now that's when the phosphate comes in. But now the good thing about planting season after season after season, now you get to know the pattern. You know, because the weather is sort of the same, and you know, so you get to know the pattern. So unaweza ona like signs of, you know, like kuna pests
like
mahali. So you just control it before it gets out of hand.
Okay. All right. So now we've talked about the planting, we've talked about, you know, the pests that are there, we've talked about how this particular 628 is doing, and so far it's doing well. So I'd want us to come into the harvesting. But before we do that, I'd like us to take a break. So be sure to stay tuned.
You are watching TV47, the home of untold stories.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we were here with Soni talking about maize farming, the variety that they're growing here, and now we're going to delve into the harvesting. So now as we get into the harvesting, my question would be, when you harvest maize, do you cut down the whole stalk? What is the process?
So, yes, there's a process. Like here, we don't have the machine, the harvesting machine.
Yes.
So the work is very manual. We cut the stalk, the whole thing, the plant, tunaikata, and then put them somewhere. We remove the cobs. Yeah, we remove them, and then now because now it's a lot, we have a machine that you hire out, if you have it, but we hire it out, and now it threshes it, like inatoa the grains. Yeah, it removes the grains. Tunabaki na the cob and the grains separate. Yeah. So, but there's nothing that goes to waste because now, like that one, we can put it in the store until we sell it. We sell ours from the farm. So, like right now, what is the rate? We sell in the 90 kg bags. Goes for like 2,100. The 90 kg, because many people are, especially if you're selling from the farm, you don't really have competitive advantage like that. So yeah, and then now for the cobs and now the stock that remains, ni animal feeds for our cows.
For the cows,
yeah. So zinakuja zinapasuliwa, you know, now it's mixed with the molasses and everything. So nothing goes to waste. Literally everything is used. Yeah, the cobs are also used as firewood. They're good for starting fires, whatever. So yeah, the mamas use kwa jiko, the rest are used for animal feeds. Everything is used. And the process starts all over again the next year.
All over again the next year. Okay, so you had mentioned that because you don't have the machine, you have now people coming to the farm. So because the land, let's say 2 acres as we had put, so how many people would you need for that? For the harvesting period? So
what usually happens, there are people that are known that do that. So it's sort of like una book. Yeah, it's not something that is done in a day, because over here is not like Nairobi. Guys work from 9 to 1. After
9 to 1 o'clock?
From 9 to 1, and unless now you pay them now a higher rate to endelea, but most guys work from 9 to 1, because after that they're also going back to their farms. So you pay them hourly. So for things like harvesting, you really have to be here. Like I always have to come when the harvesting is happening.
Is there a reason?
You're trying to maximize on the hours that you have, because you have like 4 hours, and you have, let's say, a group of 5 men. 5 men. Yeah. 5, 6 hapo for cutting them down. You see, so you see, if you're not here, maybe
they've not even done much.
Maybe they've not even done much, or maybe they're just staying in one place. You know, you have to be here so that you maximize on the time. Yeah, so that at most, if your land is not so big, you use 2 days.
2 days. So for you, do you use that 2 days, or sometimes
we use mostly, it can spill, but maybe if there isn't good supervision. Because, you know, if you're starting in the morning and if you're leaving at 1, there's no break. Okay, unfortunately, not labor. But yeah, so there's no break. So, I mean, you know, if you're doing it well, you can be able to finish. And also you don't want to cut, you don't want to use a lot of time, because sasa zenye zinabaki zitakauka. You want to remove them at the same time, so that they're all fresh when you're selling them.
Yes. Okay. So you take it all down.
You take it all down. It's a long process, because now you also want to utilize the cobs and everything before the pests zikuje zianze kuharibu and all that stuff. And also you're saving on animal feeds when you're doing that, because for like the stock now we have the grass cutter. Inakuja inakata, then it's mixed with molasses. For this other one inakuwa kama unga for the cows. You know, you mix them with other foods and stuff like
the
that.
cows must be very happy.
Yeah.
But
So if you don't do it fast enough, you'll end up wasting a lot.
Yes.
And wasting a lot of money.
A lot of money
Yeah.
as you do it. Okay. So after this, do you now? We've said let's say 3 days. Let's use 3 days.
Let's
They
use 3
come.
days.
They harvest. Are you doing the same process of removing on the same day? Is that like a whole process? Like, is it that intense that you have to do all of that day? Is now okay? We're done with harvesting. Let's now come to this other section.
Okay, so if you have a good storage facility, you can decide to keep them.
Okay.
And you don't have, as our store is not, tech evil. Yeah, so you don't want to risk it because you have the pests that are going to come. They are going to start drying up. Some of them may be wet and some may be dry, so zikishikana ndio unaona zinakuanga green mahali ingine.
Ama zikikulwa they look.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you don't have a good storage facility for them, the best thing that you can do is do everything at once. Okay. So what you find happens is as when you know you're about to harvest, you call the people who they're now the people that we sell to in the farm go and sell in Nairobi. Yeah, if you're not selling in Nairobi.
Okay.
Yeah. So you start calling them. You tell them siku hii na hii.
Yeah, we have maize.
Yeah, we have maize. You bargain, you do your thing, so that by the time you're finishing, they're here with their lorries, they pick it up and that story ends.
Nice.
So maybe you can store it in the nini for maybe 1 to not for long.
Not for long.
Especially if because it needs to stay in a cool, dry place.
Cool and dry place. Guys, you've had cool and dry place. Even when you're told to keep your food in a cool and dry place at home, it has a purpose.
Yeah, and around here we don't have silos. There's a silo that was supposed to be launched, I think a couple of years ago, but I don't think it's complete yet.
Yes.
So, and everyone here is harvesting at the same time, more or less. So zako zikianza kuharibika, that's it for you.
So is the market now, do you find it competitive now that many people have Mahindi around? When it's time to harvest, you're all harvesting at the same time. Then you're like the market, because most of you're calling these guys come with their lorries. Wakona options nyingi sana.
Yeah. So that's why I was telling you, like how we have it in the farm over here. You can see there's this portion that was planted in April. Yes. So there's another portion that was probably planted semi last month. So we'll not harvest all of them at the same time. Yeah, because you see now there are people who plant at once, with everybody. Yeah, so you just need to be smart. You need to know how to. Yeah, because as much as it's one season, you can space them out so that also sometimes you get the competitive advantage is kidogo too, not much, but it can work. Okay. But now if you plan to take them to Nairobi, maize is it's not that expensive, and it's not sometimes like viazi, how viazi can hike
prices.
Yeah. So this one I would prefer just selling it from the farm, because I'd go through more loss if I now transport it to Nairobi.
The logistics even and all of that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we've tackled harvesting. We've talked about the market as well, and you've told us the 90 kg bag goes for 2,100.
2,100.
2,100 thereabout. For you now in this space, to tell other farmers, other young farmers who want to or have seen through this whole journey that we've talked about maize, what are some of the things that they need to look out for as they want, plant maize? As much as we're saying easy, because, people like easy things. But what are those things people need to watch out for before they venture into maize just because they feel like it's easy and that just because it's not as hard?
So before venturing into anything, let's now, because we're talking about farming, you need to really talk to the people on the ground. Because even me, when I was starting, I thought I knew a lot because I've Googled and I've researched and I'm thinking I'm here with all my knowledge. And you just come and get humbled because you're like, oh, kumbe sijui. I don't know. So you really need to talk to the guys, because I didn't know what maize to plant. First of all, I had bought the wrong seeds the first time, and I was just told, msichana, unaweza jaribu lakini haita. So you really need to humble yourself and be like, and listen and to whatever you're told, because these guys who are here have been here for years and years, and this has been growing here. They know everything. Yeah. So you need to know, to talk to the people on the ground, to know, with this climate, what is going to grow here, tupande aje. Unajua wakikwambia sometimes watakwambia with the maize tupande tu carrots katikati, tupande cabbage katikati. They know what they are saying. You know, because they know the soil and they know that if you just plant maize over and over again,
the soil will lose.
The soil will lose its fertility.
Yes.
So they really, you know, explain to you. So you just humble yourself, you walk around, you talk to people, you get to know, you know, kama kuna farmers associations, join them. Me, I'm with very many mamas from here, PCA Kiaraho. Yeah, so you just talk to them, you get to know. I would also advise people to know your local agrovet. Yes, because you can really be conned, especially if they know you're young and you're from Nairobi. You know, fertilizer inaenda for 2,000, you know, 4,000, you know, and it's because you've not done your research, you've not talked to the people. So like me, I have a Boda guy, very good guy. So even when I'm in Nairobi, I can tell him, enda pale, you know, you talk to the agrovet guy. You really have to be like mtu wa mkono.
Kada ya moko
vibaya sana. Yeah, so that you can be able to know these things. So you just have to research and really just like humble yourself to learn. Because uko Nairobi, we see the plant and we see the ugali. Yeah,
and then you just don't know the process in between that.
You read it on the packet ya jogo. You don't know the
how.
So you really need to research. And especially from word of mouth huku chini. What you Google is not what is there, unfortunately.
Guys, you've had vitu kwa ground ni different.
Vitu kwa ground ni different.
I think works.
That's the slogan for this.
That's the slogan.
Vitu kwa ground ni different.
So thank you so much, Soni. Like, this has been amazing. First of all, because you're a young person, I am very inspired, and I'm so sure many of you are, with venturing into maize. As I told you before, people do passion, store anything fancy, anything that you think you can get money quickly.
Things.
But I want to say thank you also. Keep going, keep doing maize. We want to... Yeah. So if anyone wants to probably reach out and, you know, contact you, are you able to give us your contacts for them to do that, you know, in case they need some advice? Maybe kuna watu wako huku ushagoyo pia ni
now.
So you could do that. You can tell them your phone number, where to get you.
So my phone number is 0702 156 917.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for staying tuned. Remember, anyone can do farming, whether young or old. Catch us next week, same time, but a different place, right here on Kilimo Diaries.